Well, and he's supposed to be making them that way.
Lifeguard school too, I went through welding school again, I went through welding school again. Gas-free engineer school, fire and police safety school, management school, TQ, total quality management school.
Yeah.
Some schools were like a week long, some of them were 6 months, 3 months. That's why I said, I tell people,
So anyway, that was
if you didn't get something out of you, no way it's not there.
Oh, yeah.
Lazy.
She doesn't have any problems.
So like, they want stuff done, they're like, I'll do it. And then when it comes time for me to go to school, yeah, you do it. And then there are other guys going, they want something, then they just turn around and hide it. I get stuff.
That's only a certain time.
Probably never. I don't have much social. I've never worked for anybody else other than I was only in 6 years. So I mean, other than what comes in the social, like $300 a
Fees they pay.
not really.
I know the sports fees.
Never made any money. 25 years, I can make any money. I'm like Don's gun. I just love to build houses. I don't make any money.
Tell us later what.
So I kind of screwed myself in that. Well, and at one time I had, investments and money and assets. I'm starting over at some point.
About 25. Up there in the finest
Well, when I started that business, it took me 5 years. I made a couple $1 million on it. And spent all that. Look broke again. It's been a really fun roller coaster. I got some severe ups and some severe downs. Enough to make most people commit suicide. That ain't funny,
But true.
but it's true.
Okay, are we ready?
Everybody ready?
And also Paul.
I've been $58,000 in the hole in a month. $200,000 above and 2 months later.
I'm sure the people on.
Yeah,
online
I've
can't
had
hear
people
it.
tell like, can't hear what guests are saying.
Multiple times.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. Please rise. Sam, could you say prayer and could you include Nick in the prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you again tonight to say thank you for your love and mercy and grace made new. Lord, we ask you just to guide us and strengthen us all together. We've got a lot to go through. Just help us come together and work together for the betterment of the whole entire community. Lord, we reach out to you and ask you to please watch over Nick's sister and the family. I know she's not well, but we know you're the great healer, and we know that your will will be done, as well as some of the other county employees that we've mentioned lately. Just continue to watch over them and just watch over us all and guide us, strengthen us, and forgive us for your faith. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everybody, and whoever has not signed in, please do so. All right. Council, you have your minutes. We have December 19th minutes in front of you. Please look at those first. They're very short.
They were revised, weren't they?
The ninth? No.
Nineteenth one, the last meetings.
Last month was.
Last month's meetings were the revised ones.
Last month's meeting.
But right now, we're looking at December 19th. So we just haven't had those yet.
What was the reason they didn't get that?
They just had not been done yet, so.
I thought there was.
Shame on you.
These right here.
No, we're doing the December 19th one first. Do you want the overlay? This is the.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion made by Steve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Daniel.
Both sets?
Well, we're just looking at December
December
19th
19th.
right now.
I don't remember back so far.
All those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, now look at the February, what is that, 9th? Yes, those set of minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the January 12th meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a question. You said January 12th? February 9th. Okay, all right, there we go.
Whatever day it is.
All right,
It all looks good.
so motion was made by Anton. Did
I'll
you
second.
second it, Dan?
I wonder why Joe looked at me funny.
Yeah, I'm like,
What am I missing?
It's like, what is your problem?
all right, motion made to accept the February 9th minutes. All those in favor? Motion carried. Okay, there.
I think he was reading right there where it says. January 12th.
Okay, on to monthly financial reports. Sheila.
We'll do two sets, one for just the month of February and then one for today's meeting, although we did get more funds in this afternoon, so they're a little bit higher. We're pretty much on track on being the third month in the year. We're just taking it, we're going to two line items in the red, and both of them belong to the auditor. One is $1 and one is 11 cents, and it's the lit distributions, and we have an email from the state that it's their fault, and if we want to fix it, we can. If not, it'll balance out at the end of the year, so we'll probably get it, just so it's not on there. I also included in your packets the claims, just so that you can kind of keep an eye on who's spending what and where, and hesitate to ask for copies or what they are specifically. There we go.
Financial related question, we kind of touched on this during the break. So are the resolutions taking the earmarks for the jail project, are those done? Did that money get transferred or will it get transferred at some point?
The only thing that hasn't been done, again, they did it for the commissioners and some things that was had, we have a $4 million balance, $4 million and something, in the 1233 fund. And the storage unit money has yet to be transferred over, it's a little over 20,000. And then the monies that were in the sheriff's line item budget, you had money in the regular general fund line item in there, as well as there was some that was set aside in the 1170 fund. And there were expenses for jail-related stuff out of there, and from what you had set aside, so there was only 254,000 or something like that. But yes, that has been transferred over also.
What fund did it go, it went into the,
It it went into the 1233, and then the sheriff's, there's a special jail fund, I believe it's 918381, and then 181 fund.
9181 jail project fund.
Yes.
It's got 413,611 in it. If you could send just a transaction summary or whatever showing the movement of that money, that would be good to make sure you're there.
I don't know, I mean, I guess this comes in under there. On the, I mean, the commissioners with the legal fees and everything. Tony,
Yes, ma'am.
we had talked about having a letter of engagement for the council as well.
Yes, and I didn't prepare one initially because you had not specifically requested one. I was planning to do the work and continue to represent you. You just hadn't asked for the letter, but I'm happy to get you one.
Okay. Thank you.
I got a question on the local road and street, the money spent with Rogers Group, for gravel. Do you guys have ability to buy other quarries as well, or is that up for a bid?
We have the ability to buy those works.
Okay. Is there a significant difference in the price of stone from Rogers compared to, was it S&G there in Steinsville?
Yeah, man, I don't know exactly what it is. It all depends where we're at, what location we're at, where we buy from, instead of traveling or so on and so forth.
Well, because I've been thinking about this for a while, it just seems that if we're running farther into Monroe County to buy at Rogers, I mean, if there was an explanation of like the stone's a better quality or something, but,
Well, the stone is, well, I'm not a stone expert by no means.
Right.
I'd hate to say that the stone's a better quality, but some of it is a better quality. And we bought some used 53s for different things, ditching and culverts and stuff like that from Rogers at a good price. We do buy from others. We have the
Okay.
ability to buy from anywhere.
but yeah, just especially with the cost of diesel over $5 now, efficiency on, if we're factoring in, our wear and tear on trucks, labor costs, fuel costs going even farther
Yes.
for each load. That's all I have.
Speaking of highway, at the last meeting, we talked about an NDOT award that you were able to get reconsidered and so on. Did that go through as planned? Did we get something in writing, a commitment from NDOT? What was it called? It wasn't part of community crossings, right, or was it?
Yeah, it was.
It was, okay, okay. So they're calling it a part of that program and they're distributing it to us under the normal requirements of their grant.
Let me get my glasses on. That total was $903,030.20. We should be getting something from them pretty soon. I mean, they're gonna be releasing the money fairly quickly, in March this month.
Usually they ask for a commitment letter. Are they going to, do you know, Benita or
I have
Sam do? Okay.
They will ask for a commitment letter. They haven't yet. The money is there. They're just, I don't know how they handle their things. They've got a level of commitment on their end before they send out that this is exactly what they're gonna do. But the $903,000 is guaranteed for Owen County.
Good. Just wanted to make sure I understood the follow-through on that because it was a little different than normal.
Yes.
Good, but different.
Well, they didn't think he was gonna get anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that money is fronted to us. We hold it in a grant line item or fund number. And then, once everything's formalized on the projects and the bids and the actual costs and all that stuff, then the money is spent from that fund But we also have to make sure we're spending the match part too to satisfy that. And that's gonna come out of what we already had budgeted out of the edit money. And somebody is keeping track of this, and at the end of the day, it will
It's all gonna
match up properly.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I understood that. Thank you for doing that.
Benita's on top of it, keeping it on his square.
Benita is gonna be 100% responsible.
Absolutely.
Good, great.
Yep.
Not going wrong, it's her fault.
Juanita's the one that takes care of it.
Thank you.
Anything else on the monthly financial reports?
Thank you, that means that you guys are paying attention to the claims, which I think is really, again, we've not done that before, so thank you.
Was that, I'm just trying to compare, but on the, Ross Brown, Todd, that amount, how much, how long was that for? What time period?
On claims,
Mm-hmm.
That's current, except for jail.
Yeah, but like, was it a month, 2 months, 3 months? Or is it just
That's a month.
month? Okay.
some of the claims that Tony had sent in that were jail-related, he had requested that we hold them. We've gotten, so until January, we've gotten a few of them then, and then keeping up, but it's not, because we're paying for them out of different funds, and whether it's the sheriff's in the 1170 fund, or out of the commissioners, depending on what it is, and the councils and everybody's. I will say last year, you guys had budgeted $160,000, and Tony's total fees was only $133 or 34 outside of the jail, so definitely was a
Right.
reduction.
And just general discussion, because I know that's something we struggled with for years. It had always been upside down for years. Are we seeing, and Tony can answer this, or the commissioners, are we seeing certain things dropping off our lengthy list and being resolved? Or are we seeing lesser volume of inquiries? Are we being more efficient with department head requests? I mean, I know it's good news that we have a little less spend than what we budgeted, but is it due to positive results? Or, I mean, what's behind the number?
I compared the fees that I charged with those that were set by the previous council. The previous council had a fixed fee per month. Right, so you were just paying a flat fee regardless of how much or how little.
Oh, okay.
And when I came to you folks initially, I said, look, I don't know if that makes sense for me or for you. I said, why don't you let me do it for a year or a little more and see how it goes, and then we can talk about it then. And I was able to achieve some cost savings for it. So that's,
I appreciate
that's how
that.
it works.
So it's just more efficiency in handling.
It's not a salaried position.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's not a salary job.
Yeah.
I do work as you guys need it.
Okay, great.
Great.
Any other questions or comments on the claims or the financial? Okay, moving on to public hearing. I hereby open the public hearing for additional appropriations.
Let's see the new format. Right here.
Here is the training on the new additional appropriation process. You have to enter it into the gateway, has to be on the public portal. We all had those classes, here's basically what we're having to do tonight. As you, and Tom said, the new format's in front of you, you have to either do an ordinance or a resolution. I did a resolution, and I'm gonna keep them as additional appropriation resolutions, so your guys' are all in order outside of the regular ordinances and resolutions you do. I think it'll help better on the tracking process of it. And once you approve it tonight, if you approve it, then I have to upload it. We have to have it in the gateway portal within 15 days to be approved. If not, it's all, you don't get it. You have to go through the whole process and ask again. You can approve up to the maximum that was in there. If you do anything less, that is okay, but you can't go over, like one of them's 25,000, you can't go over that. But if you decide to do something under that, then those can be entered in that format. But everything goes through them. We do not have to advertise in the local paper anymore, which is the best part of the whole process, because, you know, once you get, you know, just like this one, there's only 2 on there and 2 people that you hear and you approve to do it. So tonight you'll sign a resolution that'll let me upload it, and it'll be approved by DLGF, and then it'll go into the budgets. This will be your new format.
So every additional appropriations has to have a resolution.
Has to have a resolution.
Hmm.
And the other part of all of this also is you now have to have transfers done by the council. They can't, even if they're in the same series, in the same funds, everything has to come to the council, especially if it is salary and wages. So you'll see a lot more on, we'll try to with your transfers, I'll group them all together. They don't have to be resolutions, but they do have to be approved by the council as a whole. And I think the goal there is to keep departments that are keeping better, trying to keep better tabs on the counties and the local levels, and people that are moving monies from one fund to the other, or switching around, or they're not using it for what it was given for. I think it's just their way of keeping better track of what's going on.
Well, I think it's a good thing, because I think it helps us to stay abreast of what's going on
Yeah,
too.
because I do transfers all the time, in the same series, in the same, and especially in payrolls and those. So this way it'll let you guys know, just like it'll match your budget and your projections on your salaries and those kinds of things. So I think in the end, it's just getting in the habit of doing it. And the departments are gonna have to realize it's gonna take 30 days to get something done.
So on advertisements for additional appropriations, no longer need to be in the newspaper, but they all must be resolutions. So there's a little trade-off there. All transfers, regardless of series, require council action, not necessarily a resolution. And then what is the website where the additional appropriation notices are published? Is it?
It's the DLGF gateway.
Okay, and the public can go to that and pull up whatever they want, and that's how they can view those?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So do we have any public input? Anybody want to, since this is a,
Is that gonna save a lot of time on you for public requests?
anybody in the public want to have any questions? Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we proceed appropriating $25,000 out of Fund 1235 for contract services and $1,736 out of Fund 4906 for regular wages.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Anton, seconded by Verl. Any questions? All those in favor? Motion carried.
And well, our fantastic 911 director is here. We talked in the last meeting about the Central Square thing, remember that?
Are we
And-
still, do we need to close the public hearing, or is it got something to do with the,
Yeah,
okay,
no
Okay.
more additional appropriations there.
yes, right.
So Central Square.
So I hereby close the public meeting.
We talked about that at the last meeting. There was gonna be some research done on that, and I think the feedback we got in the conversation was that we maybe needed a little better breakdown on the invoice for either by user or department, or however that can be broken down. Has there been any headway on that yet?
No,
Okay.
I've got what they've sent us, but again, I would have to sit down with Matt and go through what the jail and the department uses and what we use.
Understood, so just need more time on that. I think Chris also mentioned that he had a kind of a wish list and thought about maybe expanding or getting additional licenses for in-vehicle use, right? And
Yeah.
is that also something you're still kind of looking into or maybe
Yeah, I'm not
coordinating at some point?
I'm not sure if that would equate to any charge, any
Okay.
additional charges though.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to old business jail project review.
Well, let's see
Hey.
if we started.
You want to come up here and
Is it
talk?
okay?
Hmm?
Can I sit back here on my back? But that's okay.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Okay.
Get the
But we don't have a
microphone-
microphone that we can take to
Turn the
it.
microphone up a little bit.
Just stay there. Just stay
Oh,
there.
that's all right.
I'm sorry,
Hey,
Sarah.
no, I need to properly exercise anyway.
Why don't you get a stiff for us?
Mr. Keith, would you, the chair, come up here, Mr. Keith, and county attorney as well. Okay. Thank you, counsel. Beth, did you give him a copy of the map?
Yeah, it's right there with the proposal.
Okay, you just have a copy of the map.
As I said, they all have a copy.
Okay, so, as you know, sheriff's here, you can come up too, Sheriff, if you like. Can you hear, okay. I think this is our 14th year on trying to proceed with getting a jail built, and we all know the situation of the current jail. And at first, we thought about, the swap the 96 acres for the 10 acres. 96 the county owns out on Franklin Road with the 10 acres at the quarry. I did, I did mention her name at the last meeting. I did try to call her. I didn't want to leave her out of the loop. I did speak with Pam Rogers on several different issues when I met here with her and a couple other people about looking at maybe some different property for the jail. Then I reached out to Mr. Keith, Tilden Keith here, about the property west of Walmart, between Walmart and YMCA, and that's the map that you have there in front of you. And Mr. Keith spent a lot of time and his staff meeting with, is it the granddaughters, sir?
Actually, the daughters.
The daughters,
Yeah, it'd be the
okay.
daughters.
This property's been looked at many times, multiple times, and tried to purchase several times, and Mr. Keith will testify to that. But Mr. Keith met with the daughters, and they have come to an agreement that they would be willing to sell. It's roughly 17.4 acres, give or take, minus a little bit to the county. I'm going to read a letter that Mr. Keith drafted up, read it to all of you here. We read it at the commissioners meeting. It says, "To whom it may concern, my name is Tilden Keith, and I'm representing both the sellers, Susan Sherfield and Deborah Harkrider, and the potential buyers, Owen County Commissioners, in the purchase of approximately 17 acres, more or less, located west of Walmart and Spencer." And see the attached overhead map that you have there. Their sellers are willing to sell the above referenced property to Owen County Commissioner for the sum of $90,000 per acre. The exact acreage will be determined by a survey to be completed on the property. The buyers will be responsible, in addition to the purchase price, for the cost of the survey, all soil testing that needs to be completed, and any zoning requirements needed for the proposed use of the property. 2% commission paid to Keith Realty for the representation and coordination of the sale between both parties, and the other costs that arise on the buyer's side. The sellers will be responsible for title insurance policy, granting clear title, warranty deed, and any other costs that arise on the seller's side. Mr. Keith left his number, and anybody can contact him at any time. We've had some jail committee meetings. The sheriff's been involved, Paul has been involved, Sheila and attorney and the contractors. And to me, it's a lot of money to purchase a piece of property, we understand that. But the utilities are on the property. They're there out the highway. And we also gained 7 acres. Now, I know the big concern to everybody here is the fact of what this jail is going to cost. And it's a huge concern, and I do understand it, and I'm sure the sheriff does too. The fact of it is, and I believe the sheriff will contest to this too, having 17 acres on a lot that I personally think is probably more accessible to build on than the quarry. Nothing against the quarry, nothing against Mr. Franklin. He's a businessman, he totally understands. But it gives the county an opportunity in the future to expand. You know, we have the coroner's office in the garage, we have the health department renting a facility, costs a lot of money. Probation department on the south side of the courthouse. We have the opportunity, unique opportunity, and to be honest with you, it's just a good Lord bless us with this opportunity to be able to purchase this property. And I think it's definitely in the best interest of the county to move forward with the purchase of this property pending core drilling, environmental study, and the samples that need to be done. Because it's going to save us a lot of money right out of the get-go. Just to get an easement on the property is very expensive. Plus routing the utilities to the quarry, it would be very expensive. So the cost savings, and I don't have dollar figures in front of me, I don't.
Can I interrupt just a little bit?
Mhm.
I think they had down, what, 200,000 for easement?
Yes.
With that, and then also the old quarry property, they had at least $400,000 for retaining walls. So I mean, right off the gate, we would be saving both of those.
It's, I mean, it is expensive, but Mr. Keith, he's here and he will testify to this. I've had people ask me, well, you know, that cost that they want per acre, you know, we need to go into negotiations. Mr. Keith has already been in negotiations and tell them, please state, if you would, it's my understanding that there is no negotiation on this, that the cost is what it's going to be, if that's correct, sir.
Yes, basically the negotiations on this was that they would even sell it, that they would even consider selling it, because they've been approached several times on this, and it wasn't even the ballpark whatsoever. Some companies and things that approached it before on that, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there beside Walmart, there's no doubt about it. Everything's ready to go, considering what there is. And when I was doing a lot of research on this, for example, and I'm like, Sam, you get to thinking $90,000 an acre. I bet a lot of farmers would like to sell for that, wouldn't there? There's no doubt about that. But for example, up there by the nursing home, I just pulled 3 transactions that happened out there between 2006, 2012, and 2018. For example, in 2006, there was 2.24 acres sold up there to like the medical center, different businesses. In 2012, 1.57 to get the building in. And in 2018, 2.60 acres was sold up there to another business, okay? The average acre on those 3 transactions, and we all know how much properties went up since the teens, okay? And since being 2018 being the last one, it averaged $139,457 per acre right there around a nursing home, to kind of show you what it was then. Now, of course, it'd be higher. I know it would as far as that goes, but you're talking a lot more acreage. And when Sam approached me on this as far as that goes, we was trying to figure out, you know, a fair amount of acreage, and there's 17, a little over 17, something like that. And it's really hard to say. You're not selling an acre, you're offering, you know, depending on where how much you're wanting or whatever. But when they come out, we've done a lot of redactions as far as that goes. But when they got into $90,000 an acre, I mean, you're $50,000 less than the average acre was on the smaller acreage now. back between 2006 and 2018 across the road. So the point being, you know what, that's about as close as I could get and get the permission to sell it, to be perfectly honest with you. And they was not interested in anything else as far as that goes. And like I said, it's a prime ground. They have been approached multiple times. When Sam asked me about that, of course, I'd ask Walmart if they wanted to sell if somebody's interested. But anyway, I said I'd approach them again, and sure enough, you know, I talked to both girls as far as that. And a little reluctant, which I can understand that. That's been in the family for a lot of years as far as that goes. But they have been approached several times on it. They understood the consideration of what might happen as far as the jail and all that kind of stuff. And I actually think that that was part of it that they was willing to work with. It's not like they've got a, you know, they don't have people that would be interested in it if you advertised it for sale. But just the point is, you know, they said, okay, here's what we would do. We didn't start there, we started higher, but at the same time, we got down to 90, and at this time, that would be the least that they would be willing to take per acre, no doubt about it.
I mean, we've been at the jail thing for 14 years. We got to draw a line of sand in somewhere. And, you know, I know the price of the jail is more than what we want. We understand that. And the sheriff's design that he has there on the wall is basically the same. I think he even made a couple small cuts. Is that correct, Sheriff?
Yes, sir.
To help save some money. The fact of it is, you heard from the insurance guy in the executive session that we're real close, and Paulie used at the commissioners meeting, that we're running out of capability to even to insure the jail unless we're going to pay an extremely higher rate. The issue for the sheriff is that's been going on. He can't classify, he can't segregate his people, and it's a liability issue. The jail wasn't built correctly to begin with. It's almost 40 years old. I've said this term for many years, and I'm going to say it again, whether people like it or not. The county is wasting hundreds and thousands of dollars in polishing a turd. To refurbish this jail would cost us $15 million to refurbish, and it doesn't gain the sheriff any more bed space.
And it would only, I heard that it was only gonna gain us like 10 years. Spending $15 million and it would gain us maybe 10
Right.
years.
Is that correct, Sheriff?
Based on the growth population of the jail, yes.
So, you know, we're at a crossroads here. And the sheriff, I've been to the jail committee meetings. Like I said, I did speak to Pam and another taxpayer about this site, and Pam had some good ideas, so the other person. And I've been talking with Tillin for quite some time now on this, and he did the hard work talking to the daughters to get us. Yeah, I didn't have to do that, he did, so thank God for that. But
Sam, I got a couple questions.
you go ahead.
It's gonna take a minute.
Yes.
And I've talked to you before, the commissioners prior to you, and we've spoke on this, that anytime there's a major purchase that needs to be made, I was not a fan of a back, there was no solicitation whatsoever previously, before this, of the county asking, is there anybody with land that would like be entertained selling it for a jail? It was just, this is the deal that's on the table, take it or leave it, is how it seemed. And in the jail committee meetings, we've spoke about that. So moving forward, I don't think there's a better piece of land than what you guys are talking about tonight. But moving forward, if there's ever a time where we need to, purchase more, a solicitation should be issued, in my opinion.
I 100%, Joe, I agree with you 100%, yes.
I understand the easement troubles that we were gonna have out there. And I spoke with the sheriff that, number one thing in security is you need to have more than one way in, one way out.
That is correct.
And if we were to build in a quarry, it takes a car accident or a tree falling across the road, anything on that road, and you guys are shut off, in and out for your officers. So I'm with you there as well. The land on Franklin Road, we've spoke about that. Is there a potential that we would just be able to sell that
Absolutely.
and offset this cost?
Yeah, and here's Norm Warner's here, Commissioner Warner and Commissioner Rist. The property where the jail is now, you know, in 2021, that was the ideal thing, that's where we was going, because that's where we was at the moment, you know, in the Sheriff White, and, you know, hats off, man, that is a great design. It's far more lucrative for the county to possess more property to build a jail on so we can have future expansions. Not maybe just for the jail, but maybe for the coroner's office or maybe the health department. And this 17 acres gives us that flexibility. And the sheriff needs this jail. And this is the prime piece of property for that. I've looked at some other properties too that it's just not feasible. You know, it's centralized to town and to the emergency services in case we need something. Spencer PD, state police and stuff like that. So that's the reason I want to, you know, give kudos to Pam for helping bringing it up when we talked about it here, and to Tilden for the hard work, and for these two daughters to come to an agreement on $90,000 an acre. We're money ahead with the money that we're going to save right out of the gate.
I've got a big ask on it.
Yes.
And we talked about this earlier, is this no doubt will increase the property values in the area, which in turn is going to increase property taxes once again.
Yes.
And we said that we would never increase property taxes to pay for this jail. In turn, if we purchase this $90,000 an acre, it is going to be a direct impact on property taxes.
Well,
So,
okay, go ahead, sorry.
I don't know if we have this ability, our counsel is here, maybe he does. Is there any way, any resolution whatsoever, to where this could not be used as a comparison to evaluate property taxes against?
I don't have an answer for you.
I don't either. I don't have an answer. I'd tell you if I did, but
Right.
I just, on the spot, I
Are you
can't.
talking commercial or?
But it would have to be
residential?
commercial though, wouldn't it? I mean,
Well, it doesn't matter how it's zoned right now. What I'm saying is, I don't want somebody sitting in the assessor's office in 2 years, and this piece of property is coming up, and they're comparing $90,000 an acre to grandma's 20 acres of farm ground, or somebody else's 10 acres of commercial ground. It absolutely should not be used against somebody's, as a comparison to inflate our property.
And I kind of understand where you're coming from, Joe, and I appreciate that, but let's say the commissioners don't buy it and Johnny down the road buys it. You're in the same boat.
You are, but the county's not causing it.
Well, I don't think, and I'm not into the tax person, but somebody else can please chime in.
My feeling on that, Joey, if we sell the 96 acres and we try to be aggressive with our pricing out there, we sell where the storage units are, once this jail's done, and we're aggressive with the price out there, it would have the same effect. And we would be the cause of it, and I don't know what the answer is to prevent that.
It would have a similar effect. What they look at on your property taxes is an average. And
What's that?
is an average.
But-
So if you're 10 to 15,000 an acre, it's not gonna have as large of an impact as a 90,000 an acre
I don't think we
to
would sell
Washington
it in the
Township
50.
property tax.
I
Well,
think it'd be higher than that.
but,
go ahead, Paul. I'm
well,
sorry.
my thing is, I mean, you're talking about commercial property, that zoned commercial property versus, you know, the grandma's 20 acres that's zoned
But
agricultural.
it's not zoned commercial, correct?
It will
It's not
be.
right now.
It would have to
It will
be.
be, it'll have to be zone commercial.
Before or after the purchase?
The letter says that they'll take care of zoning
At that point,
requirements.
really, because once it's turned commercial, it's commercial.
Well,
It's for that
for her argument, it does matter. So we buy a $90,000 an acre of farm
Well, once
ground.
we-
Could be institutional.
Institutional, yeah, right.
But you understand the point, what I'm trying to make?
Yeah, I understand
Is there a
your
way that
point.
we can get it to where it's not going to affect any of the other taxpayers? Because what it's going to do is everybody's property tax is going to go up from it. if we don't find a way to make it not happen that way.
Okay, so, but, and I understand where you're coming from, but then again, I do understand. But the fact of it is, the taxpayers are paying for a turd right now. We're spending taxpayers' money on a jail that we cannot do nothing with.
Right.
So in retrospect of that, whether it's a direct, we're not directly raising property taxes, assessing against them. I understand where you're coming from, but whether it's us that buys the property or somebody else, it's gonna have the same impact. What I'm looking at from the county's part of it is quit wasting the taxpayers hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on a jail we can't do nothing with.
We're in agreement there, absolutely. But if this is something that can be looked into by council with an assessor, would be an ideal situation. And you're right, we're using taxpayers' money here.
Yeah.
But 99% of taxpayers in this county are funding something they will never use, which is a jail.
I understand that.
It's the largest cost to our county. It's not an asset to anybody in this room.
No, I mean, it's simple fact that, the commissioners have to provide the sheriff for an adequate
But,
jail.
I mean, it's obviously we have to have it, but that's the part of it. So if it's going back on the taxpayers even more, it's.
Right.
I will say that if we get a lawsuit in the jail and they win the lawsuit, then everyone's property taxes are gonna go up too. The longer we wait, the jail keeps getting more and more expensive, about $1.5 million per year that we wait. The jail's gonna get more expensive. If we don't find something sooner than later, we're not gonna get any richer as a county anytime soon. It's not like we're gonna just find tons of millions of dollars out of the sky.
Unless we borrow off the 90,000 that's gonna raise on per acre.
But if we don't, if we keep waiting, the jail's gonna get more expensive, and the only way to fund that would be to raise property taxes. So
Which we don't want to do.
this is only gonna affect those who try to purchase anything. If it was to affect it at all, if it's institutional, it may not.
That's not true.
I don't know, I'm not a real estate
If you
expert.
go and you sit in the assessor's office, it is backed up by how other people have sold their property. That's all it is. They'll pull it up, they'll be like, look at these last 5 that have been sold. Would you sell your house for that? The answer is yeah. Okay, then your property taxes aren't high enough. That is the answer that the assessor is giving.
And I agree with that, but it comes to the point of it, and I understand where you come from. It comes to the point of it that the commissioners and the council's got to do something about jail.
I'm not trying to shoot your idea down.
Oh, no.
I'm just asking, that's an ask.
It is
Can we
something
look into that?
definitely look into, but tonight, I would like, for us to proceed, with this transaction pending the environmental study, the soil sampling, and the daughters know this. They understand that we have to do our testing, make sure the ground is feasible to build on. And if it comes back, it's good to build on, we're good to go. It's not gonna take long to do the testing. I reached out to the contractors and the developer, and they said, let us know after you have your meeting, or try to call us on Monday night and see how the meeting goes with the council. They can move on this relatively quick. It don't take that long to do the testing and stuff, because I told them we needed that ASAP. So we know where we stand and the council stands together, and once that's done, it's just a matter of making the property transaction through Mr. Keith here. And
How much is this a change from the utility that the town of Spencer was wanting to charge to
That's-
what we don't need now?
that doesn't change anything. We still have to put in the new 12-inch sewer main regardless.
The
But I,
difference is we're cutting it down by about 300 yards.
as well as your gas.
And all that, just, when you said it had utilities, I didn't understand.
It's right there at the highway.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have to go down that road.
no,
Like we were gonna
it's,
do
Or
before.
pay for the easement to get through it, or.
Right.
absolutely. And it does, like Joe said, it gives the sheriff the opportunity to have 2 direct paths to the jail. Because you can't confine him to one, because let's say you had a terrorist activity or something out there, he's done, he can't go nowhere. And we didn't want that, and that was a red flag I had with the other. Also, to let you know, because I had a couple people ask me, well, you guys have already signed an agreement to to transfer 96 acres against 10. No, we have not. The commissioners never signed anything, and the council can testify to that.
Sure.
It was a verbal agreement laid out, but this board of commissioners, and we've not signed anything to this, so that's where we are. I think we're in the absolutely best possible situation we can be in right now. It's like I said, it's a blessing from the good Lord, and I'd like to see the council move tonight to act on this pending the outcome of the environmental study and boring and drilling and testing.
So if we do this,
Brian,
I will add that this exact piece of property, I spoke with Debbie, probably 2 years ago. Debbie, the Hartriders are personal friends of mine. Her mother was still alive at the time, and they were not interested in selling. Her mother was not interested in selling, but she said maybe in the future. Her mom was sick at the time. Now, since then, unfortunately, mom has passed. But this was a piece of property that we were interested in before, 2 years ago. So it is a great location.
Yes, sir.
Sam, out of all the years we've been looking at the jail project, I really believe now this evening, we've come to a place where I believe we can look at this deal as the best that we've been offered. And I think to get to 17 acres, and I hear what Joe's saying, but I mean, I think we're at the place that we need to proceed. I don't know how you would want a motion made tonight, but I'd make a motion that we need to proceed with this, granting the commissioners the authority to make the deal that's been presented to them. I don't know how we need to word that legally, but I make it in a motion.
motion made by Nick, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Steve. Any discussion on this?
Yes. So, this is a great location. It can save us back some things, but I always ask, how is this going to change the net cost to our favor? And it's absolutely not going to change any net cost. It's going to cost us more money when we already were over our financial capacity before this discussion even occurred. So we're moving in the wrong direction, in my opinion. And I know there's a lot of moving parts. I get it. It's complicated. But the bulk of the sewer cost to get sewer to where it can take care of that, either that property or the one behind Walmart, the bulk of that cost was upgrading the line from that point at the highway all the way back to the ball diamonds. Mm-hmm. So of that, I'm going to just say 2 million.
Yep.
Throw an easy figure out there. Most of that 2 million was that. Now, yes, you save 300 yards. That is some money to our favor. The retaining walls, 400,000, excellent. No easement, 200,000, excellent. But even if you subtracted that out, we're talking another $1 million in cost for a project that still does not have a clear end point in terms of whether we can financially pay for it or not. That concerns me. It means to me that we should scale back the project, the building project. But then I know, because I knew the sheriff was going to raise his hand, but then you think, okay, well then how can you compromise the design? Because the design is almost kind of bare minimum, if you will. And what you have is what we need, and that's bare bones. But I just am not comfortable with this at all. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But
if we were to agree with this tonight, could we not get the 96 acres listed on the market as soon as possible so that money could be put towards?
Let's not put the cart before the horse.
No, but
The 96 acres will not be sold first.
Right,
The property where the current jail sits
okay,
and the storage units
will be,
is going to be some of your saving grace to help save this cost. The $1.6 million that we're going to spend for the property is child's play, as far as I'm concerned. Because we're going to save almost $1 million out of the gate. Still going to have the cost of the sewer, which we're trying to get with the town to see if they'll bond that for us over a period of time, instead of paying the $2 million straight up front. But once the commitment is made by the council to proceed, and we get our testing back and all that is good, we can move on with the purchase. Then immediately, we can get the jail property and the storage units appraised to see what it's worth. That would be, and I'm just one commissioner, so the other two guys make a difference. That would be the first piece of property that I would sell, because it's worth more money.
Right.
And we're gonna need that money to help facilitate the cost of the jail. We still don't even know yet exactly what the jail is going to cost. Let's say whatever comes in that, that's where the sheriff, the jail committee, and the commissioners, the council gets together. You determine exactly what we can afford, and the sheriff will have he'll have some decisions to make.
But, following up on my earlier question, if it's already the minimum project, there is no way you're gonna cut back any costs. Plus, the property that the current jail is on, we were already banking on that sale to cover the year 2 payment for the bond.
Okay?
A bond based on 27.5 million, in terms of issues. So we were already banking on that, the value of that sale financially in the big picture. You can't double count it or count it up front now to offset the cost of this property and claim to save money with it. It doesn't work that way.
I'm not double counting it, not at all.
But you see where I'm going with that, though. If we're relying on that to cover your payment, your year 2 payment, the liquidation of that property, then you can't count it as an offset to this cost because you're already using it.
I'm going to agree and disagree with you. We had talked in the past about selling some county property, but I never, one time ever was told that this property where the jail has to be sold to make a payment.
Well, we talked about it last year when we had Peters Financial we talked about this in detail.
Okay.
About the sale of the property and liquidating that would cover the 2.1 million payment in year 2, 2027, I guess, if you will, at the time.
Well, Anton, it's gonna be what's gonna be here. We're at the crossroads. We're at 14 years of building a jail. And if the taxpayers, I can't sit here and agree that the taxpayers should fund a bill, a payment on a turd. It's absolutely money, we're throwing money away.
I'm not saying we pay for that, Sam. I'm saying that the new project is not something we can afford. It already wasn't. Now we're going to have another 1.5 million on top of all this. And let's say there's some offsets, so another million. We're going in the wrong direction in terms of cost. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
We're going the wrong
I
direction.
think we could get to a point, Sam, if, as a consideration, if you were to build on the backside of that 17 acres, and we're putting all the infrastructure in there, it's county's putting that bill, and say you use 8 to 10 acres of that, then you would still have 7 left over towards the front.
I'll interrupt that conversation, but Mr. Keith told us, and this comes straight from the dollars, please correct me if I'm wrong, if we only want a portion of that, they're gonna still own the front section of that. They will only sell us what's up against the quarry if we only wanted 10 acres.
No, I understand that, but if we take 17, is there a time that it could look like we build on the backside of that 17, and we divvy off the front 7 acres as retail?
Well, you have those options. You have a coroner's office that works out of a garage.
Right, and I'm not talking about the coroner's office, I'm talking about you're selling commercial property, prime real estate on the highway.
I know what you're talking
Is
about.
there's not gonna be any forms or literature in there that says we cannot?
I think they would want to reserve that right.
Well, that's why they said originally, if they bought it all, it'd be the 90,000. But if you bought, and I think Joe's saying the same thing. But anyway, if you've done the back, that front's worth a lot more than the 90,000.
Right.
But that's what Joel's saying, if you buy the whole thing as far as the county, then that front part would be worth more than the 90,000 down the road if you had to do some.
It's gonna be worth
Right.
more retail to
Right.
sell the front half as opposed to build
Yeah.
something that's
No-
not gonna
no
generate
doubt.
retail.
That's an option that would come down
As
the
long as the
road.
literature's not in there that we can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Madam Chair, we have a motion and a second. I know this is a big decision,
It is.
but I believe we need to go ahead and vote on this because I believe this whole jail project hinges tonight on this vote. Because I'm not sold on all the other project that was involved. I wasn't sold on trading the 96 acres for 10. Now, that was something I wasn't going to make a big fuss over because we needed to proceed. But I think we got an opportunity tonight to buy something that is absolutely beneficial to this project and to this county. And I know, I hear Anton, I do,
Yes,
Anton, I
I do too.
appreciate your comment. Joe's, I'm just ready, I'm ready to move on it, Joe, and I call for a vote.
I still got more to discuss. The,
Can I say one thing?
yes.
Having represented sheriff's departments for 30 years and been involved in these kinds of fights over jail construction and building new jails and over capacity claims and things like that, as you think about all this, remember, delay is not your friend. I mean, it's just not, for
certainly,
all kinds of reasons.
the motion that's on the floor, is that to purchase it or is that to move forward with soil testing?
Let's move forward with the purchase of the property.
Contingent on the.
Pending
Yeah,
all the
pending
testing
the-
comes back
Soil
right.
It's just hard to purchase something without any sort of purchase order or literature in front of you that says verbatim exactly what you can and cannot do and what you're buying and what you're not. I understand that's,
You're here tonight, he could put that together, could you not? The purchase agreement?
Oh, yeah, we could do that, there's no doubt about it. It needs surveyed off to know exactly what we actually did, is then the overhead and approximate, because it's gonna be right up the line of Walmart, straight back to the quarry, of course. And that was more or less, and that's actually what we said on here. But we could actually get a purchase agreement up, it would still have to be surveyed, but of course you don't wanna do that a whole lot to make sure core drill, you know, you don't
Right.
wanna get nothing else that doesn't work. And I don't think there will be any problems, but once that's all done, and then we can proceed real quickly. But like you said, I understand. You brought up a good point. I really think that's something, that however you want to do that. But buying that whole amount right there and having that front end, not doing any, maybe the very front, and it ain't none of my business. But my point is, $90,000 straight through is something else. And one thing I talk to my clients about, if you want that front 10 acres, you want that front 7 acres, you're not getting it for no 90,000. You know, that makes sense. For the county to make a move and say, we're gonna go ahead and do that after it's all, everything's tested and all that kind of stuff, I understand that. If you arrange it in a way that's pleasing to, you know, everybody intended, yeah, that front, you've got a lot more value hanging there. There's no doubt about that. I mean, right out next to the road, I mean, yeah. That could be out, but it just makes the property worth more to you guys as far as
It's
the
a-
council, because it's just more valuable.
It's an investment, and if, you know, if we had to, I mean, if our backs were up against the wall and we needed, you know, you could sell off the, you know, the front part, and you would be making money. Because, like you said, that's gonna be worth a lot more than the 90,000. So,
Sam,
Yes.
you were sheriff in 2020, right? What was the cost of the jail back then? Do you remember roughly?
In 2021, was, I think it was $21 million.
That's a pretty big growth in 6 years. In 6 years from now, or 2 years from now, it's going to continue to go up. We listened to the insurance agent here earlier. I've talked to Ryan about it 2 to 3 years ago, or whenever he first got in. I watched the lawsuits over in Vigo County. It's a problem. It was a problem then, and when that insurance guy sat here tonight, it's definitely a problem.
And that's part of the reason why I say delay is not your friend.
well, and I think after that they have looked at that, the quarry property, you know, RDC thought we had, you know, looked into everything, and it's just problematic, and I'm not sure that it would even work at all.
Oh, I'm totally against the quarry.
So this, you know,
And I believe I understand everybody's concerns, the money's in the expense, I understand what Anton's coming from, the jail project is huge. It's a lot of money, don't know exactly where we're gonna be. I'm hoping that we can, maybe curb some of the cost from the contractors and maybe see if there's any more savings there on their end. It's a tough situation to be in, the folks, we got our backs against the wall now. Sheriff's got his back against the wall. It's been that way for quite some time.
Since I've been on this council, we were talking about the jail before I got on it. Since I've been on this council, we've kicked this can. And I remember when I first got here, it was in the $22 million. This can is going to get larger and larger till it's a damn oil drum, and we are not going to be able to kick it. I don't know where the money comes from exactly. I don't know how it gets all done. I really don't. I do know that I've been in the jail. I've seen what's happened. I read almost as much as I could on the Vigo County lawsuit and the federal thing, and we were literally almost verbatim in some of the stuff with that. So I just don't think it's, like I said, we're at a major crossroads. I voted for I made a motion to have the drawings done back last year so that we could move forward. And all we're doing is holding and holding and holding. I understand, you guys. I understand how much it is. I do understand that. And I also understand the cost of construction is absolutely skyrocketing every month. Every month. Lack of labor, lack of goods, lack of everything. It's astronomical. Well, I do, Nick made a motion, I second it. I'd like to have a vote.
What's the motion again?
you want to restate your motion,
The
Nick?
motion is to grant the commissioners to proceed with the purchase of this 17 acres with a purchase agreement written by the realtor so that it binds them and binds us and to proceed, and that we support that move.
Pending the soil and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean,
and,
those are things that, I know our realtor is not gonna allow us to buy that because there's something faulty there, because
I'd love for something on the paper where this doesn't affect taxpayers. Where it doesn't throw their values up, because I seen it when the town bought Riddle Tractor Sales. Everybody showed up in town.
Well, I mean, with that, you know, the county attorney can look into that. There's no guarantee that's gonna be a thing, but that shouldn't stop
So
the
if
motion.
there's a promise to look into that.
Yes,
He will.
I will.
Joey, what I wrote down was impact of the 90,000 an acre on comparables for the purpose of taxes and or raising property taxes for the other people. Is that how, just make myself a note.
I just don't want to use it as a comparison,
Okay.
because nobody's gonna be able to afford anything after this.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? All those opposed?
I'm abstaining for personal reasons.
Did you get that, Sheila, the vote? Okay.
Thank you, council. Appreciate the support, Mr. Keith, county attorney, Pam Rogers for her information she gave me, and a couple other people out there that didn't want their name mentioned. We hope this works. We'll proceed, and we'll be having more meetings coming up, work with the council. I do ask council, is there anything else you need of me tonight? If not, I have another appointment.
And I want to thank you, council, and I get that on paper immediately. Get everything done just exactly like we agreed.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
Do you need anything else out of me tonight?
No, you're good.
Thank you.
Can I add a comment that we're kind of in the middle of the commissioners and the council and the jail committee meeting, and there's a time that the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, because because of the lack of communication. And I would like to make sure that we're all trying to make sure that everybody's included in the loop every step of the way, not just month to month. And we've got to have better communication, especially moving forward. There's a lot of things pending right now. Have we got the value of the courthouse back? There's a lot of things that are going into this, and I don't know what stages we're at and everything, or who to call. Where are we at with Jeff Peters as far as the bonding process and waiting? So I'm asking for everybody to talk with each other a little bit more and make sure we all know what's going on.
I'll agree to that, and I know being public, we don't always agree on everything, but I think we need to spend more time
I agree.
working in session with commissioners and council as a whole.
Yeah.
Especially
Maybe
on this.
executive meetings or an extra meeting a month, whatever. I look forward to that because we got all kinds of stuff coming down the road, and sometimes maybe it's just, well, it's a commissioner's decision. You know what? It's all 10 of us.
Right, it's gonna take all of us working together for this to work.
And so I open that door and welcome any future meetings we can together for any projects.
Great.
I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Huh?
I figured you'd shake us down for some more.
We'll address that another day. Appreciate everybody.
All right.
Sheriff, you need anything?
That was well played, actually.
All right, on to new business. Clerk request.
I'm here to request money to pay for an attorney for our county election board. We have a bill in front of us for $5,625 that was spent the week that we had our hearings and our findings.
What caused that? What was the need, what do we need the attorney for?
Because of all the codes, it was the challenges that we had 9 of them. And so we had to get an attorney to represent, to help us go through the process.
To, how much are you asking for total?
We're gonna have a lot more coming. So I would, ask for 20,000, and that would include this money here. But we have more hearings that are going to be coming up.
Is there, if a code is challenged by somebody and it's found that you are not in any violation, there's no violation, can they seek reimbursement fees for the attorneys? Could you seek reimbursement for what you've had to spend on attorneys?
My understanding is no.
Because that's a citizen's right to be able to challenge.
Yes,
Can you speak up just a little bit?
Oh, okay.
yes.
So, devil's advocate here. Somebody goes and just challenges every single one of them, whether there's right or wrong. Or you're just kind of toast on it.
We have to do it.
Couldn't the commissioner's attorney settle that?
Can the commissioners?
Couldn't the commissioner's attorney settle that?
No, because you guys are candidates and elected officials, so we have to go outside of that.
I know, but you're really working for the commissioners. The commissioners is your leader.
No, she's an elected official. She's an elected official.
I know, but the commissioners is over.
Not over the clerk.
This is over by the state.
She's got.
This is election
Yeah.
board.
This is election.
This is state oversight. I mean, they set the codes,
Right,
and
Oh, yeah.
you as clerk, you have to follow.
we have to follow them.
And I was there one time when I was clerk, and we had to get defense to defend it, so.
Right. And we have more coming.
becomes a legal battle, then you have a county attorney that is having to represent both sides, and you can't,
Right.
been there, done that, you can't do it.
Where would we take the money, Sheila?
I
You
have
ever
her
noticed?
election registration fund is in front of you on there, she has a balance in there, or you have the general fund that you could do an additional appropriation out of. I personally think she ought to ask for 25, but she's gonna be back if you don't, so.
Yeah, I would suggest Riverboat.
Riverboat?
If Nick is gonna be making a motion to
Yeah,
that effect.
I'll make that a motion. What did we figure, 20? Was it 20,000? We can start with that. Make a motion, we take from Riverboat $20,000 and appropriate that to what did we just say? Election fund, what number is it?
In your election fund, it's 1215, is the election and registration fund, or you can put it in for
Let's have
county
a
general
second first, and then we'll,
fund as well, and create a line item for legal, either one is fine.
Where do you want it, Sheila?
If we can do a legal,
In your general fund.
yeah, if that's
Make a
possible.
motion, we appropriate $20,000 into a legal fund under the clerk's budget.
Second that.
motion made by Nick, seconded by
Before
Joe.
you vote, I have a
Yes.
question.
Norm?
So I was told, you know how that is, that the person that challenged us was also sitting with the lawyer. How much money of that is spent on that, on the representation of the challenger? Or correct me if I was told incorrect.
There was responses that went back to the person.
So did she spend
Emails.
time with the lawyer on our bill?
Emails came in to me, to my election deputy and the election board and the attorney. There was conversation. And the attorney did respond to the questions that were asked.
We're spending a lot of money from, got people trying to ruffle feathers or be thorns or something, and it's to the tune of, you're talking like you could like fund a part-time person with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna cost people to run.
And she desperately needs a full-time person.
How, there's a motion, how does it stop?
So the motion was to appropriate, advertise for 20,000 out of Riverboat, and then it would go into the clerk's general fund portion of the budget for legal.
Under the legal.
Right.
Gotta do it,
All right,
gotta do it.
okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay,
And I have one more thing.
okay.
To get a part-time person in my election office. We have timelines on these public requests and hearings, and we are, it's taken away from us doing our webinars and setting up everything for the election. I personally was down there for almost 6 hours one day pulling files.
So you're also wanting part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put a proposal together and actually have a job description and dollar amounts ready for the next meeting?
Be April, that puts you close.
It's gonna be close. Yeah. To me, it would be the same as what I've got down there, just fewer hours, the same job description, because that's what they would be doing. and I would say 21 hours.
I'm just asking because there's nothing in our packet
Right.
requesting that, so we're completely blind here. This is the first time I've heard of this, so.
Right.
Not that it's not needed, but
Right.
there's certain things we
Right.
need in order to,
Well,
but it is simple, I will give you that. You know, we know what the classification is for the full-time, and the rate of pay. And it would be paid out of what fund?
that I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's, I have the 4902. I couldn't get into my allowance tonight.
Okay, as you can see up there, election registration, our current balance is 166,023. Has 88,000 left for this year's budget, so there's some that's available there. And then her 4902 fund has a balance of 13,339.
Yeah, I mean, I really think April would be more appropriate. I don't want to be adding positions on the fly, so.
I have no trouble with that, Anton, I agree with that. If you need a motion for that, I make a motion that we hold off on this until the next council meeting.
Motion made by Nick, is there a second?
So if you wait until the April meeting, then it has to go through the state process, and it would be the May meeting after elections before it would be approved because of the additional appropriation process.
The election would be over by then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think she generally needs it in overall. It's still an election year and there's still a general election in November, correct? So it's not, it doesn't end with the primary election. It's more of a general needed thing, so. I'm gonna second the motion.
You're
Yep.
seconding? Any questions on the motion to delay? All those in favor? All those opposed? I just like to have seen something.
I just think it's March and.
So yeah, just, let's get the numbers down on paper, let's get a job description, let's get all the ducks in a row for April, and then we can go from there.
What was that count?
Hmm?
Did you vote, Paula?
I voted to delay, and then Joe and Daniel voted yes. Okay. On to prosecutor vehicle request.
Hello, Ben.
Hello?
You're up.
Yes, sir. So we're asking for an appropriation to replace our current investigator vehicle. Our current vehicle is approximately 10 years old. It's got over 100,000 miles. And we're also starting to experience problems with it. Just back in 2025, I was going through our expenditures. We expended $4,982.15 on the repairs to our current vehicle that we have now. The vehicle currently has other problems that if we don't replace it, will have to be addressed. There's an oil leak, there's an exhaust leak, there's some electrical issues, and there's also, I don't know the seals for the windshield and the windows are going bad, essentially. So we've been looking for a vehicle to perhaps replace that because it's getting to a point where at least from the way I'm looking at it, the expenses that go with the repairs and upkeep of it is basically at a point where, you know, my thought is it questions whether or not the value of the vehicle exceeds the cost of the repairs that's going to be ongoing. So my thought is we're kind of at that point where we have to replace it. our investigator, Brayton Wyatt, located a vehicle at Andy Moore Ford. It was a 2025 model year, but it's still a new vehicle. And that was the only vehicle they had in the lot. And the significance of that is the other vehicles are 2026 model year. The 2025 model year comes with a little over $4,000 in savings. So that's why we were interested in that. And at the time, apparently, we were told that another agency was also interested in it as well. We approached the commissioners at their last meeting. Commissioner Hobbs signed a notice of intent to purchase contingent on us being able to appropriate the funds to purchase the vehicle. Okay. Originally, we approached the commissioners and not the council because we were hoping that perhaps there may be some opioid funds that could be applied to it, but from what we were being told, that's really not an option at least at this point in time. I'm actually asking for an appropriation of $56,654.05. The vehicle itself, if I may approach, is the price would be $48,812.30. And because the vehicle would have to be outfitted once it's purchased, to have things that need to be put in. There needs to be a center console, there needs to be a laptop mount, and there needs to be lights and other things that need to be put in. We also got an estimate from JPM. Oh, sorry, there's 2 pages to that. And that estimate came to be $7,841.75.
Are you going to trade the other one in?
So we've discussed that as well internally. From what I was told, there's like an auction process where it seems like we are getting better, I guess, better price. So yeah, so my thought is that we'll try to auction the vehicle so that we can get more money back for it.
What does the commissioner think?
I'm sorry?
What does the commissioner think? Have you talked to them about it?
Well, yeah, they went to them first, that's what this is.
Yes, sir. So
What vehicle is it?
it's a Ford Explorer.
Here?
Trade it in or sell it?
Oh, the old one? I'd have to, sorry, I did not bring that information with me, but I can, let me see if I,
My question,
I'm
Is
sorry?
it out of the sheriff's department and Owen from the sheriff's?
No, it was purchased new when it was bought.
Madam Chair, my question is, where would that money come from?
Good question.
So, yes, sir. So we did think about that as well. So currently in our user fees, there's, I believe, a balance of about $108,000 the last time I checked, which was just a few days ago. Okay, so counting the total amount that I'm asking to appropriate along with our budget for this year, I think there's sufficient funds to cover that purchase. The issue then though is that with $108,000 coupled with the $32,000 that's budgeted plus the vehicle, that leaves just a little bit that's left. And our user fees balance for the past 3 years have held pretty steady. It hasn't really grown.
Gotta get them bonds up there.
So, you know, part of the issue is, okay, if we use all of the user fees on this purchase, right, which we could, and we can still go forward, I think, safely, and the issue would be, okay, the long-term viability of trying to make a big expenditure or even replace the vehicle 7 to 10 years down the line when ultimately we would have to, right?
So what you're saying, Ben, is you could use all the money and have enough under the user's fund to purchase this vehicle. Are you asking for us to put a part in it so your account stays a little better?
If there's a possibility of doing that, I would love that, to have some kind of, you know, assistance from the council to, you know, chip in something.
What's on an average, how many miles do you put on that vehicle?
Right now, it's just a little over 100,000 miles. I know that was, I think that was, yeah, we bought it brand new.
And it's 10 years old?
It's
About
roughly
10,000
10.
miles a year? So not very many.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So if you look at your screen, his current cash balance is $111,319. I do think there's a couple thousand pending. His commissioner's claim fund totally hit debt. But he also has a $50,000 budget balance left this year. So there's not enough to pay for a $50-some thousand car and the rest of the budget this year. And they only average $28,000 a year revenue. So even if you add the revenue back in there, I don't know that there's enough to make it the whole year. And then you're looking at what are you gonna use? Are you gonna move all of his to your county general fund so that he can support his budget? Because you don't wanna give him something here, it'd be better to do a one-time. Again, he can't afford to cut his budget next year.
So that appropriation figure, Sheila, but does that already include some additional appropriations? Because the budget for this fund is only $31,943. So how we would have 76 for appropriations, that have to be some additionals.
25 hasn't ended.
Oh, okay.
We haven't cut that off.
And we're not really gonna spend that anyway, so that number, that's not necessarily an accurate number, but, because we budget 32,000 essentially a year that's spent out of user fees. And if the revenue is about 32,000, well then, it's,
Right.
the balance is the balance, it's just static. So, I would feel more comfortable not covering the whole cost out of this fund, but I would think we would use it for some of the cost, and then use a different fund to cover the balance.
What if he took care of the vehicle and we took care of the other bill of outfitting it, the 7,000 something? Would that work?
It's just a matter of cost and how much you want to take out of one fund or the other.
So are you talking about taking certain line items out of, because our office budget on the criminal side is split two ways. There's our regular budget that's funded out of the general fund. And I think most of it is salaries, and there's a couple of other items that's listed there. But then a lot of the other, items are actually funded out of user fees. So,
My question would be, when you sell the other vehicle, will that money go back into the user's fund?
I would have thought that's where it would have gone, but
Or go back to where we're
Where
going.
you pay it from, you have to put it back to.
Okay, so if we cover this expense, and he's got a $20,000 vehicle that he's gonna sell, and the money goes back into the user's fund, is that a possibility? Can we fund it out of his money?
He doesn't have a $20,000 vehicle, he probably doesn't need a new one.
What year is it?
Probably a $10,000 vehicle. That's best.
Yeah, I'm more in the $85,000 vehicle.
Okay.
If it's got all these problems,
Yeah.
is it a Ford Explorer?
mhm.
There you go, it's not a $20,000 vehicle.
It's a 3,000.
Yeah, it's a $3,000, $4,000 vehicle.
I tried them. Oh,
That's why I need to know what year it was.
Right. I can try to get that information for you. I'm sorry, I
It
just didn't
doesn't
bring it down.
matter.
I knew it
If
was
it's a
like,
Ford Explorer, it's
is that
already,
2015? Okay,
yeah.
so,
I really think he needs a new vehicle. It's important for the job. They last obviously 10 years, which is great. We're wise to pay for it up front and not finance anything. So we just need to figure out what breakdown, how much do we want to take out of his user fee and how much do we want to take out of fill in the blank. Riverboat, general,
Auditor, what would you say?
or whatever Sheila says.
Well, you know what the use of your,
I would say use the user fee fund. Let's see where he's at with revenue, which seems to be going up a little bit. Don't take it down to the bare minimums. Keep it on the radar and come back no later than October, so you have a timeline that you could do an additional appropriation from somewhere else so he can keep his budget.
That's a good idea.
I make that motion.
Well, so we need dollar amounts though, so.
And this is an additional appropriation, so it will be the April meeting before you'll have final approval to get it. They have to do the process, so if they're holding the car, again, we have to do the additional appropriation.
I make a motion, Riverboat, I don't know how much.
Hang on.
Is there
Burl made a motion,
Oh,
so,
you need a second.
yeah, we need a second.
What was his motion? What she said?
What she said, what to take it out of?
But we need.
I'll second that. Did you get that?
Well,
Then she know where she's coming from.
we need an amount, so we can advertise, I mean, well, not advertise, but so we can put that in a resolution,
Right here,
so,
Sorry.
it's like 7,000,
yeah,
841,
841,
75. Plus,
48,000, 812,
55.
56,654.05.
there you go.
You want the 5 cents or you want
So
the?
it's up to 57 total.
Yeah, up to
Yeah,
57.
just
Yeah.
up to 57, but how, from what funds?
From one fund.
From his user fee fund and
57,
then,
yeah, Riverboat's fine.
well, that's okay, that's not what Sheila
Oh,
said.
no,
She said, his,
She said take it out of user fund, I mean,
Oh.
the user fees.
whether.
And then in October, if he needs an
Okay.
additional appropriation
That's
from
fine.
somewhere else,
Yeah.
so.
Take 57,000, split it between the user fee funds and the riverboat fund. That way you have a little bit of a balance. So rescind your motion, split it between the two funds. That gives him a little bit of breathing room because if he has any other emergencies, which like he said, he's had to come back or had to do additional appropriations, it gives him a little bit of flexibility there too.
It's kind of a
okay.
toss-up, I
Okay,
mean, it's really,
We'll take half of it out of Riverboat and half of it out of user funds. Okay?
does he need to rescind that motion for, I mean, his original motion? You need to rescind your original motion
Yes,
first.
I will send the first.
We said we got a second.
Now you can make
We
it,
said
Yeah.
we first second.
restate.
You can keep
Okay.
that.
Now,
I've got it.
take half of it out of Riverboat and half of it out of user fund.
I second that.
Okay, any other questions on that? All those in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now the funding, just so that I'm clear on how to proceed with the purchase of the vehicle, the funding won't happen until April though? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the way
Okay, so I just need to know what to tell the, the car
Mhm.
dealerships.
Right.
Can you tell me what the date of that next April meeting is? Is that already set?
Yeah, it is. April the 13th.
April 13th? Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
All right, on to sheriff employee salaries.
Do you have a cold?
No.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, your voice, so.
Good evening. While we were on the topic of the jail, since we've been on the topic of the jail, I want to bring up pay for my jail officers. Since 2024, we've lost 18 people in the jail to go to higher paying jobs. This past Thursday, I lost 2, one of which was a sergeant who went to Morgan County to be just a regular correctional officer, no rank, bottom of the pay scale, and she's making $28 an hour as her first day of work. As you know, Jail officers are required to be certified through the state of Indiana. They're required to go through training. Every time that we lose someone, we start all over. We can't leave them alone, which means we're earning overtime because somebody's got to cover for them. And it's a revolving door. When we put posts on Facebook that we have a job opening in the jail, you would not believe the number of hecklings we get from the public saying that that's ridiculous. Why would anybody work for that? They have to deal with hardened criminals. I wouldn't take that job for nothing. Our jail officers deal every day with the worst of the worst. I have murderers in my jail. I have attempted murderers in my jail. I have rapists in my jail, child molesters, and everything in between. They're dealing with them every day for 8 to 10 hours a day for a living. The officers on scene deal with them for a few minutes to an hour. These people deal with them every day. Last week we were in a fight, and it was a good scrap. They're going to work and they're having to fight and constantly protect themselves from people who have nothing to lose. They're making $19 an hour as a base pay. For $91,000, we could give all 11 people who are paid that rate a $4 raise, bringing them to 23, and still making $5 less than the base pay of Morgan County jail officers who do the same job. This last Thursday when I lost Bree to Morgan County, Bree was a sergeant. She is the person who trained everybody in our jail, every new jail officer we've had, and she had about 6 years experience. She throws all of that away to go up there because she's going to make that much more. She was on county insurance. County insurance cost her $1,000 a month. Well, that's a huge chunk out of their pocket. They're working for nothing. I'm going to continue losing people. It's going to continue to cost us more and more money to recertify, retrain, reuniform all the people that we get if we don't do something about it. I don't think $91,000 more in a year is going to bankrupt anybody, but it sure is going to make their life significantly better.
Where are you looking at the finances?
I would love to pick Sheila's. I would love to pick Sheila's brain on that. I don't have a good answer for that. I don't.
How many jailers short are you right now?
I am 2 short with 1 rookie who just started. So if he hadn't just filled in, last week was his first week, that same week I lost 2.
But he'll have to go to the academy.
But he's still got to get certified. He still can't be, left alone. So he really doesn't help the schedule whatsoever at this point. Now, he's going to be phenomenal. He's a retired police officer from Nashville, Tennessee Police Department. He's going to be fantastic. But right now, he can't help us a whole lot right now until he's certified. This is an important job. And honestly, and we've said this before when we talk about the building and construction of a jail, the jail is your largest liability that you have in this entire county. Nothing else comes close. The jail is it. We are responsible for the care of these people, and if we do not provide them proper care, proper supervision, people get hurt, then we are held accountable. Can you find that vehicle description on that, Chris?
Ryan, can you tell me the cost again, the total cost?
If it was, I'm sorry, this is right by my house. I want to make sure it ain't my children.
Yeah, 91,000.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's a wreck on 231 Hancock.
Approximately, sorry,
They said 91.
I'm a little distracted.
No.
Yeah, I'll plug it in real quick here while you're dealing with that, Sheriff. It's all out of 1170. Okay.
It's bringing in $320,068 a month. It would support a pay increase, a salary increase. I'm assuming you're asking for a salary increase for all of them, you're not asking for any
The 11.
other jail.
The 11 positions below lieutenant. That would be 91,520. That would be $4 raise across the board for them. And like I said, it's still significantly lower, but at least this entices them to stay. Bree did not want to leave. Bree was a huge loss. I can't explain how big of a loss it was to lose Bree. She is phenomenal. She cried. She did not want to leave. She loves us. We love her. She is top of the line. The people you want, she is it. Very dedicated, but she's got 2 little girls at home. And she was on county insurance and she could not afford it.
Where does that put the people in the mid-range or pay scale, you know? Like, I know we went to the new low and then we have mids and highs or.
So the total cost is $103,400. That includes the holiday pay, all the costs that go with a wage increase.
Right.
So that sounds pretty darn close, because your 90 probably just was straight up wage.
Straight up wage.
But if you figure the percentage on holiday, it makes sense. So about 104,000. The low point was 19.778. They were kind of not grandfathered, but they were already ahead of that a little bit. They're at 20 at the moment. Midpoint is about 22, and high point is 24.1.
Sorry, I'm still multitasking.
Yep, you're fine. So if you add $4 per hour, you're basically just going to put them up at the high point at that.
And you said they're offering 28 to start there?
Yes, Morgan County starts base pay at $28 an hour. We make $19.96 base pay.
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
you get any answers, Ryan?
I'm sorry?
Have you got any answers?
Yeah, it's not my kids.
I think the question would be, how do we fund this? Anybody got rhyme or reason to that?
If we can fund it now, can we continue to fund it?
They're currently paid out of 1170. So if you don't do anything, it's just going to come out of 1170, and that's going to just, go against that cash or whatever.
I know for the past 3 years, I've saved about $40,000 a year in inmate meals. I just turned over, how much did I roll over? I didn't spend, good night, hundreds of thousands.
276,000, I believe.
Yeah, that I didn't spend out of my budget. And trust me, and the reason I said that I wasn't gonna spend it was because it was taxpayers' money. I didn't need anything at the time. There was no reason to spend money for no purpose that I didn't need it.
When we get this new jail, we're gonna need officers, and it would be nice to have seasoned officers, and if we don't pay them, then they're not gonna be
We're not,
seasoned.
yeah, because to be honest with you, in the new jail, we can't work with the same numbers we have now.
Right.
We'll have to have 3 officers working per shift instead of 2. So I will need 5 more people when the new jail is, and I'll need them before the new jail is built, because I want them certified before we go, so that I'm not trying to certify them and teach them a new jail at the same time. We'll need it before that, because we can't man that floor. It's a different setup. You got a crow's nest. You're gonna have one that has to roam the floor, and you gotta have one in booking at all times. So that's 3 people per shift.
Madam Auditor, do you see a way of financing this and maintaining it year after year in his budget?
With the money that he's bringing in each month now, the 320,000, it would support those raises. You also have to think he's gonna gain, each time there's an employee that leaves, he's gonna gain that 90 days in there. Do I think you need an additional appropriation tonight? No, because again, the ones that he's just lost will help fund some of that difference. Come back later in the year when you see what else is needed, because if he loses others throughout all of it, again, you're gonna gain your insurance and your FICA and PERF and all of that, that can go toward this raise. And that would give you a more accurate number of what you're gonna have in order to maintain it. And that also, by your June 30th, when budgets are due, will give you some idea what to put in your budgets for 2027.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion, I'm gonna ask Anton a question. Anton, do we wanna go with the $4, or do you wanna go with the outline?
I'm not the right person to ask. I'm not going to vote for it. I'm not against the jail officers, and everybody knows my positions on these requests. But to help you out, $4 would cost you about $103,000 total cost. You're going to be putting them at the high point according to the scale.
What are the other employees that are in that same
You've got all of your dispatchers, your home visit officers with court services, the new evidence manager position, and I guess your assistant jail commander would also be a $4 adjustment, correct? Because otherwise, then they would all get paid more than the assistant. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, he's not part of Bill's.
But he should be, because otherwise he'll be underwater compared to the other jailers. So that would be an additional cost. So let's say $110,000 maybe total cost if you affect all of those positions in there.
I just would have liked to seen some numbers.
And again, yeah, we don't have anything in writing. I know it's a critical need, but in the perfect world, we would have sat down and walked through this and tried to figure out a solution, but.
I am for sitting down and coming out with a solution. I'm not opposed to that, but it's something we need to address. We need to address it, because I'm gonna continue to lose people, and 18 people since 2024 is a lot of people. That's a lot of headaches.
It is.
Every time you have a new hire, it's a nightmare.
Well, the other thing I thought about the other day in thinking about turnover, because we have certain areas that are higher turnover prone than others, obviously. And there's some areas where we don't have hardly any turnover. Is there a way to, being the policy guy, is there a way to come up with a trigger? And this is a great example, but also there could be another situation where, based on current operations, if you have a certain amount of people that resign in a certain amount of time or over a certain period of time, is there an automatic trigger or a step that says, council, this qualifies for an exception, for example, and this is where you go with that? And it's kind of a clear path for any department that faces that situation. Again, not all do. So it wouldn't trigger for everybody, but it would trigger in more extreme cases, kind of like this. The thing is, we don't have that policy, and we don't currently do that because we just fortunately haven't had to think about it. But it can happen, obviously. So
when the economy tanked and we were riffing a lot of people in the community or in the county government, the jail lost one that we never received back. So technically, from what we're supposed to have, we're down 3 plus 1 rookie. We never received the one back. And that occurred before I got in office.
This amount of money, Ryan, will cover, is this new employees are you short some employees?
I'm down 2.
Does this cover those 2 as well?
This would cover those positions when they're filled.
All of them.
Yes.
Okay.
And right now, we've had postings for, gosh, it's been a little bit. We've had postings because we knew it was coming. I think in all this time, we've got 2 applications.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a motion that we grant the $4 or the max, or however you want to say that, Anton.
yeah, basically the effect, if you're doing that, Nick, is whatever the current base pay is now, which is base and COLA, which is 19.96 or whatever that comes out, you're essentially going to add $4 to that.
Okay.
Is what I think you're proposing.
Right.
And we would do the math, reverse math. It's going to be weird because base will be different, COLA. The COLA will actually be much higher. That's where the money will be.
Right.
But the net result would be a $4 increase at that point, so.
I make that in a motion. Will we be taking it out of the 1170 fund? Is the question. Yes, and I make in that motion that it would be taken out of the 1170 fund.
Motion's been made by Nick, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Steve. Are there any questions?
I want to say this, I hear what Ryan's saying. You have people down there that are dealing with some rough individuals for $20 an hour. I think this is probably past due, and that's my opinion.
And I think we need to remember what the government's responsibility is of public safety, highways, all the infrastructure,
Well, that's why we're talking about it.
building a jail.
31.
I know.
And that's my problem. I mean, just, we can't.
It's money. It's money,
Yeah.
money, money everywhere.
So,
And we're not a wealthy county.
no.
Ain't nothing free though.
It's not easy. It
It's
really
not.
isn't. It really isn't.
So are we doing it in additional appropriation, or are we just utilizing the current $113,700 that's needed and then come back? If we'll have to keep an eye on for the next 6 months or so and see what you're gaining.
No, I'm not an additional, it's pulling that out of the fund, and somewhere down the road, if we need to address it, we will.
Budget hearings.
And you gave back, what did you say, 230 last year? Two something.
200 something.
We had money in the 1170 that was unused. We moved to the jail fund, some of it. He also, you guys had appropriated money in the general fund, in the sheriff's budget, and that was unused as well. There was over a couple $100,000 in that as well, so.
124 in the vehicle purchase that I also didn't use.
Madam Chair, I call for
All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Are you voting?
What you doing there, Verl?
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm in favor.
You're in favor?
Okay.
That's,
So,
He was trying to say something, I think.
Yeah, what,
shall we revote?
let's re-vote, because I didn't know,
All right.
I was second. Okay,
okay,
come up with it again.
all right. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
We'll work on the details. I'll get the detail for each one and have you review that. And then we'll have the updates at our next meeting to confirm it. So,
The only thing about it is that's the same can of worms we opened up years ago.
Exactly.
It's
I
the
mean,
same-
and that's another
I
thing. I
understand.
mean, you pick and choose and we're gonna,
I understand, and I do believe how hard it is, but I understand that the sheriff's department is probably one of our #1 priorities to the citizens, other than roads, if you ask the citizens.
It's your biggest liability to insure.
If we actually,
It's your largest liability to insure.
Yeah,
if we actually understand the loss in losing these individuals from the training perspective, we're losing a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, and I'm down even, I didn't even mention, I have one that just had
Whoa,
surgery and he's
slow
out
down.
he's out for a while on medical because, he had surgery. So our schedule is really hurting right now, really hurting.
Staffing was something we just discussed in our executive session.
Last thing, my secretary, my matron, and my cook. When we had budget hearings, for whatever reason, the number that I was provided in budget hearings is $1 more than what they're actually receiving. And I don't know what the breakdown was or what the problem was, but I don't know why they are getting $1 less than what was discussed in the budget hearing. $1 less, those three employees. And one of my employees, one of my employees is making 16, hang on. I'm in the wrong one, no wonder.
Which one do you want to look at real quick?
Cook.
First? Cook? Okay.
Cook. She is at 1674, which is insane, to be honest. She has the worst schedule of anybody in the sheriff's office, by far.
That position, we increased it by 10% this year over last year.
Really?
Yes.
To 1674.
So, and 1674 is correct, but it was about $1.40 less an hour the year prior.
So she also pays for county insurance for her and her husband. They have no other insurance. So of the 1674, she makes $32,000 a year. $32,000 a year, take away $12,000. She's making $22,000 a year is what she makes as a county employee once her insurance is paid for. I made more as a trooper in 2001 than that. We're in 2026. I don't know how she survives, to be honest. She comes in about 3:30 in the morning. She prepares breakfast, lunch, goes home, has to come back to prepare supper. If somebody's out for the weekend, like right now, our trustee inmates have COVID. Now it's all on her. She doesn't have help. So now she's also coming in for weekend duties and stuff like that she doesn't get paid for. She has a horrible schedule, but she's true. She carries on. I know with Nicole and with Donna, we were told $1 more difference in the budget hearing than what they are paid. They're paid $20.80 for Nicole, or Amber is her legal name. And Donna is at $21.45. She was told $22.
Yeah, 2145 is the number we've always had, so I don't know where 22 would have come from.
That came from you guys when I sat right here at this table. Yeah.
No, I mean, there is no other number. That's,
well,
that was a 6.2% increase.
I don't know what your computer reads, sir. I'm not sure. I just know what I was told.
Yeah, the low point target was 20.685. Let me do the math real quick. The base plus the COLA is 20.685. So that's correct. That matches what we talked about during budget hearings. The other one is a special position, matron. Matron, is that correct?
Yes.
The target is 20.697.
She's at 20.801.
Yep, and that's what she's getting paid, base plus COLA plus longevity. So I don't know. The low points are what the council decided. The low points are what the consultant selected. They all match in the spreadsheet. The rate is correct. I don't know who told her, or these individuals, if they get another $1 an hour, it wouldn't have come from the council, so.
It did, because I'm telling you that I asked, and then when I was sitting here, I asked you, I wrote the number down, and that's what I presented back to them, is not coming from me, but coming from the council.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't add up on any documentation we have, so.
And I don't know your documentation, sir, I do not, I just know what I was told.
Could the longevity have shows some sort of difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's in there. You know, it's 20 more cents an hour generally. Now, one hasn't been with us long enough to, do a full 20, but it would have been figured in there.
That don't make it, okay.
I mean, we can't pay any more than what the council approves. So if there is to be a request for an additional dollar, the council would have to consider that. But that doesn't match up with what we did during budget hearings and what we had confirmed through the process. And then we do our wage confirmations in December through the auditor's office. Those match these numbers. So
Yeah.
I don't know where.
I would like, if I guess a former practice that is no longer practiced anymore is before it goes in, they used to send to the department heads what all of that was gonna be, so that we could review it again before.
I
That no
thought
longer-
Sheila's shared that after the budget part was
Okay.
done. But we also shared all the consultant materials with every department head. It specifically lists all
I've seen the
those targets.
consultant, right.
Yeah, so that would be the amount. I don't know what other amount someone would have come up with, but those are what we followed, approved, and programmed in for wages, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the jail. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Okay, on to auditor employee requests.
Great job. Okay, I sent y'all an email with some possible job descriptions. If you recall, February of last year, I came and asked, begged for a full-time position. You guys graciously gave it. Somewhere in the mix of all of it, the commissioners are over HR, and we thought with bringing in WIS as HR and job description going hand in hand, that would work. I still do not have a physical body in our office being able to help and getting farther and farther behind. The HR is not gonna work. We get to send emails if there's questions, and employees have issues, we send them to her and to the attorney. She's just an advisor, and absolutely nothing against Addie. She has been wonderful and gets back with us, and it's just not working with not having somebody in the office to do the everyday stuff.
Yeah, I think it's not working the way we thought it was going to.
Have you got, did we put funding in there?
We had originally put funding in for 2025, however, we traded it for the HR and the job descriptions and those two, and then I inherited the mapper. And so we have the mapping back in the auditor's office, which I think that is where it belongs as well. We just need an additional employee. I stand to lose one at the end of the year. I really would like to have one by June, if not sooner, to be able to move forward in the transition and training. That particular employee does all the tax settlement and it's a big part of the office of what we would be losing the knowledge of.
How's the mapper working out? Good?
He is doing wonderful.
Okay. And so we've actually finagled the monies and put it in somewhere else and shorted you an individual.
Yes.
How are we gonna finance it?
I'm in the general fund, or I have my auditor's endorsement fee fund that I'd be more than happy to use whatever is available. There's not a set amount that we get every year, but I'm willing to put that toward it if need be. But we're out of the general fund.
What is it? What's the figure for an employee?
We were trying to figure out a job description and how to combine them. I think that the fact that they're gonna be doing HR, some HR and all of that they should be comparable to what Lindsay is making.
Give you a dollar amount here.
I'm sorry, to who? To who?
Lindsay is my current payroll deputy. Her base is
Payroll.
$20.53, and COLA is $9.43.
Right, 21,473. So the new employee cost, just to give you a rough figure here. $39,081. With FICA and PERF, it would be a grand total cost of $46,000, and the benefits package is 10.
Okay, 56,000.
So about $56,000 for that particular type of position. I remember when we had this discussion back during budget workshops, the unknown at that time was how the human resource part would pan out. And we, at the time, I kind of wanted to see how that ended up working or not working. It seems to me like we're a bit behind schedule as far as updating our policies, because one of the justifications was, well, let's get the policies cleaned up, because then that makes life a bit easier in getting things done, interpreting things. We're no longer doing inquiries constantly on every single situation because the policy's up to date and there's clearer guidance. Well, we obviously don't have that in place now. So they're still under the old operational structure of dealing with those inquiries. Is it too early to make a decision yet? I mean, I would prefer to have a little more time to let the policies complete and get that stuff cleaned up. But at the same time, I think if the biggest need in the auditor's office right now is human resources, if that's the #1 area of need, then do we just have 3 deputies that just share all those duties and just kind of put another body towards that? Or do we actually come up with a human resources plan where we have someone who's in charge, or like a director, and then we have staff that director works with that manage and come up with a system that works? I think we just want to be careful with efficiency in operations. I just hate to throw a blanket position out there when we do have an opportunity perhaps to do a little more of a reorganization specific to human resources. That might be, to me, a better angle. But I don't know. I've not talked with the auditor about it, but that's just my initial thoughts on it.
My concern is, I mean, you've got one that, like you said, is an integral part of your operations in your office that is running for another position that will more than likely, I mean, you know, pending general, but would be gone, and that's not a position that you can fill and train easily. So, I mean, that's my concern, that I feel like you need someone in there you can be training now to possibly take that position. And I feel like you've been promised, you've been promised this for, I don't know how long, and you just keep getting shorted, so.
Human Resources is under the commissioners. I have no control over this person. And again, I need the worker bee. I need somebody that is in there. Yes, I agree, we need the Human Resources, and it was part of the policies, hoping that if they got cleaned up, that it would help ease that up some there. But I don't want an employee that is under, that's a commissioner's employee working in there, as we're not gaining any ground. I feel like I got 2 years left to really kind of get it in order and to be able to have, and like the other departments, you know, we're not making as much in there as we should be making, and you're not gonna get a human resources person to come in for $56,000 a year. No.
Have you got somebody in mind, Sheila?
No,
You
that's
don't?
the whole thing.
I
is
just
we don't
wondered,
have a
that's what I was
position.
wondering, if you had somebody in mind where,
It's probably gonna take a couple months. I mean, if you guys approve it tonight, we have to come back in April for the additional appropriation. By the time you would advertise it and do interviews, and if that person has to give a 2-week notice, we're looking at close to June before I'm gonna get somebody.
Well, and I feel like you've been, you know, promised a position and then something
Yeah.
else happened. And then you were promised a position and something else happened. And, you know,
I'm willing to work, and again, if we can get somebody in there and get them trained, if we see come January that things are going way better than what we thought, because I have that extra person in there, I will commit to not hiring somebody in January to replace the outgoing one if it's working. If it's not working, again, the workload has increased, and it's only going, it's increased since I started, and now we're just moving more into all of the different things going on, and the list structures, and trying to keep up with all the changes that are getting ready to come down the pike. There's not enough of us in there to keep up.
I would rather see you hire a full-time person and even a part-time person over an HR person, because I think that benefits your office way more. And I understand the HR person, I'm not a fan, never have been. I've never been anywhere where I thought they did any good, point blank. That's just how I feel. So HR, I think, could be covered in an office. I just don't like HR in general. So that may be just me, but I do think you need help. I've seen the emails. I think you need help just answering one email. So, and I've tried to read them all myself, but I definitely think you need help. And I actually was under the impression we had already given you another position last year.
It
But
was traded off in conversation
with
with
the
the
matter.
commissioners and the council.
I must have missed that meeting, sorry. I would have been here for you, Sheila, sorry.
Then, as to ride his horse until he falls down, we need to do something tonight, I think, because by what she says, it's going to take 60 to 90 days to process this anyway. I'm going to make a motion that we grant her request. Looks like you said $56,000, Anton? Okay, no change, no difference?
Just generally.
General speaking, okay. And take it out of county general.
Motion made by Nick, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Daniel. Any other discussion?
Wise to it.
I think there'll need to be, we need to have a formal job description that's ready for approval at the next meeting. We'll need to make sure the wage stuff's confirmed, matching up with that classification, just like the other two. But otherwise, yeah, that's all you need.
All right. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, board.
Guys.
On to salary ordinance, confirmation summaries, and updated job descriptions.
So the salary ordinance part,
Pardon?
The fire department.
is under public
Are you gonna
comment.
bring money?
Public comment.
Yes.
So I'm going to make a motion, we approve the salary confirmation summaries.
I second
Compensation,
that.
compensation.
Motion made by Anton, seconded by Nick. All those in favor? Motion carried.
I think that the job description part, and I think this hinged on what the commissioners may have done at their meeting, but we do not have a part-time custodian job description. I did not get any feedback from Sam on that. Are we in a position to handle that, or do we want to wait till April? Did you all approve any? No. So let's just wait till April on that part then. What we need is a part-time job description for a custodian. Right now, we have a full-time, but
Do we not already have one for the person who's in the position?
we technically don't because it
One
was,
that is approved,
yeah.
we had just gone through and wrote it up and did part-time and was gonna bring somebody in temporary. We do not have any individuals interested, We do not. So again.
Right, but we have a person in that position that's out on FMLA, right?
It's out in medical,
So
right?
do we not have a job description for her?
Well, we do, but it's the old full-time position when it was full-time. What we need is a part-time job description, which is not a major
She was
difference.
working part-time, that's why I'm confused.
I know, that's why we want to fix it.
Okay.
Yes, we need them to match.
It was never.
It was never changed.
corrected
Okay, I got you. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe for April, if the commissioners can go ahead and approve it, I know that Commissioner Hobbs has the draft. I think it was, I think it was important for him just to glance over it. There may be some other updates you want to make to it. But otherwise, if you don't want to make any updates, we just need to change it to part-time and put in new dates, and then we can adopt it at our April meeting. So maybe you just follow through on that, Norm, and,
Got it.
Okay, elected officials and department head comments. So we're going to do that under public, okay. All right, public comments?
You ready?
come on up.
All right.
You?
Chief Freeman, how are
Sit here
you?
quietly all night. I'm Lee Freeman, Chief Fire Department, if nobody knows me. Lee is a board member and Chris as well. I'm just here tonight to see if we can get $1 million. Everybody else that's Can we get it? No, all seriousness. Senate Bill 1's coming down, Senate Bill 270's coming down. So as a territory, I'm approaching you guys now because some laws are going to start changing. So I know you guys have discussed some things and you've looked over the laws, and I know I've talked with Anton and some others about this. But we're kind of concerned on how that public safety fund is going to come, I guess now 29 instead of 28. Is that going to be earmarked for the town as well still, or is it going to stay at the county level and the town and the territory would have to come request those funds? And I know there's a lot that goes into that, and I don't want to sit here and beat it up for an hour. It's just a general discussion. I don't know if it's something that we can get with maybe a couple of you councilmen with our board, maybe Sheila there, and maybe kind of go over some of these laws and see how it may play out. Cool. Just kind of general questions for you guys tonight. Right now, our public safety funds comes to the town. It's not allocated to us. We have to request those funds from the town. And I don't know with these new laws, I know there's things in there about fire territories and fire districts. Is there a percentage of population versus square mileage served and stuff like that? There's calculations. Will that calculate out and automatically get sent down to us instead of the town? Earmarked, should I say? And then the town get their, what was left for the earmark. So there's a lot of questions there, and I know there's time, but if this was going to go in effect January 2028, we need to be talking about it now. So now it's going to be 2029. I know we got a little bit of time, but I don't want to lose track of the fire territory. We receive $130,000, which is a round number, out of $1 million that the town gets right now. That pays for 2 people. So just so you guys know now, if we lose that, we lose 2 people. So
Is that the public safety tax?
Yes, the public safety
portion,
yes.
or the town's portion?
Yes, the town's portion of that.
So then, do they spend the other $700,000 on the police department?
Yes, and reserve. They have some reserve funds as part of that too. So it pays the salaries of the dispenser PD. I don't know if there's a formula now that says that, you know, Washington Township's funds are for the fire territory is X amount of dollars, and is it at the town, or is there some of that money that's still sitting here, you know, or is the $1 million the town's getting now, is that all for the town, and Washington Township is part of that because we're the fire territory that serves the town, but we also serve Washington Township and the whole county, honestly. So we don't want to lose those funds. So we want to be at the table to discuss this stuff moving forward, because there's a lot of things that can affect, and I know you guys know this as well, because that goes in other areas, and I know there's money going to jail. This is the trickle-down effect of that tax. So that's all I have. You guys got questions for me? I just wanted to know if I can somehow be at the table with some discussions on how this
Your
stuff's allocated.
situation's unique because you're the only territory.
Yes. Yes.
So then, your funding is based off of a variety of things.
Mm-hmm. And this new the Senate bill has some language in there about how fire territories and stuff are to be funded off of this public safety funds. There's also something the county can do and pass a fire tax up to a 0.4% for a fire tax for the county as well, across the county. So then that would be earmarked the same way as the state gives you guys a formula of population, square mileage, and all, sir. To break that down as well would be separate than that tax. So it offsets some things. The town's under a population of 3,500, which this new bill is if you're under 3,500, they can't do certain things. They have to request it from the county level. If they were a population of 3,500, they can set that fire tax and stuff for us, and we would never have to be here talking about it. So there's a lot of things on the table that if we lose funding, it hurts. And we all need, everybody here is asking for more money, right? So we all need more of it. So.
Is there, obviously the Senate bills have changed a bunch in the last year.
Yeah.
But is there an expert that you consult for that?
I talked with some state fire representatives of that, and I know I briefly talked with Anton a little bit earlier, not to call you out, Anton, but I briefly talked to him a little bit, and I know he sits up there too, and I explained this to him. Last I know, they were trying to get some more, I'm trying to think of the word we use, clear direction, should I say, on how that is to be spent on public safety funds towards fire territories and stuff, and that comes with that population and square mileage and all that stuff that goes into that. And I hope that goes down to the city level as well. It's not just county, because you guys get your formulas, if I'm not correct. The county gets this, says, hey, $1 million goes to town. But once it comes down to that level, then there's no oversight for that.
It's not earmarked.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question, and I know you're not the financial guy, but when the council increased the income tax for public safety 4 or 5 years ago, and the town just automatically received $800,000-900,000 without even asking.
Yeah.
How much of that $800,000 or $900,000, how much new money did the fire territory get from the town?
We received 130 from the beginning, and we still have that 130.
So there wasn't really any change?
No, it's been requested and denied.
I think what they did.
And I know that's definitely on the town to make that decision under the current law. However, under the new structure, like he mentioned, there are guidelines and some sharpening up of distribution amounts and stuff like that, because fire territories across the state are talking about the same issue.
Yes.
And, are in similar boat. I think the purpose of Senate Bill 1 is to not only make sure that you have an elected board like the county council, better direct the funds overall, but also to clarify those distribution amounts to make sure that they funnel into appropriate units of government that would otherwise be entitled to the money.
Yeah.
And I think what Chief Freeman is saying is he just wants to make sure that the line of communication's open, the need is understood, and where things are at, where things are going. I think that's great. We sent a letter to the town last fall advising them of, hey, there's going to be some discussion here in the coming years because of the redo. We need to make sure the schools, the library, everybody that's getting a piece of income tax understands what's going on here, because at the end of the day, the council's going to end up having to decide that.
Yeah.
So,
and that's why I'm here, because, sorry, but we are the only fire territory we get forgot about. And I want to make sure we get that funding. And of course, we always want more, but if there's a certain area of Washington Township in the town that is, this formula says that X amount of dollars, then we should receive those funds. Instead, and I'm not knocking the jail or anything by no means. I'm a firm believer they need the jail. But if this is a trickle-down effect, then we should receive those funds. Because that's big for the fire department. Everything's going up. We bought a truck last year, for 2023. It was $760,000. That truck today is $1.3 million for the exact same truck. So the cost of that is going up. Kind of like Sheriff. Our guys are starting out there at $18 an hour. You're going to risk your life every day for $18 an hour. So that's where we're at. We're trying to get funding anywhere we can, and we can't afford to lose it. So I just wanted to be at the table with you guys. If there's anybody that would be willing to sit down with me and maybe explain how those funds work, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you guys. And
I don't think anybody can explain that now.
Yeah, there is a lot of, and I'm trying to follow it all every day and follow these things, but like Anton and I spoke today, it's constantly changing, and it's probably going to change again before 2029.
Yeah.
I know there was some stuff in there about fire territories, fire districts for the safety tax, and there was nothing in language about law enforcement. So I bet there's going to be some language put in there for law enforcement, so they can receive that. So there's a lot going to be changing. I just want to make sure we don't get forgotten and be at the table.
One of the newest changes has been in reporting, and I know the town is responsible for reporting your part of it. But February the 28th, when you did your debt management it changed, and you had to tell if you had contracts or territories and different things. With fire and EMS was the change or the newest. It's never been asked before, so I would say there's definitely something changing, and we need to make sure that the town did report that in there, which I'm sure she did, but.
And also the EMS, it's a EMS and fire rate is what you're referring to.
Yes.
It's 0.4%. The state recently, a good thing, recently opened that up for county use, because we do have EMS service we need to fund. We're still gonna be short, folks, with Senate Bill 1 and all the stuff. The county will be short. So, but fortunately, we can adopt the 0.4. Now, within that, however, there's distribution requirements. Obviously, EMS is gonna get part of that, but then fire would also get that, you know. And whether it's a territory or a district or whatever that is, you know, I'm sure there'll be plenty of analysis and maybe even more changes in coming legislative sessions relating to that, but it's important to keep a pulse on it.
Yeah, it's very important. So, with our property tax cut too, we're gonna lose money there too with this bill. So, you know, that's an additional, so we'll see over $150,000 loss if we lose public safety and property tax cut. And with a $413,000 budget, that's a lot. Our payroll's $300,000. So we run all over this county and we do a lot for this county. So I'm just trying to make sure it keeps going. So, if there's any meetings or anything that you guys have on this, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to sit in on them to make sure the fire territory side of it gets spoken for. And like you said, that tax, if you do it county-wide, that can go to all fire departments throughout the entire county. And you guys oversee that. So maybe money gets spent in the right way. So,
Thank you, Chief Freeman, for your service.
no other questions?
No.
Thank you.
All right, auditor comments.
State Board of Accounts officially started our 2025 audit. We will be here, I think they're slated less than 2 months to be here. All we can do is provide them what we have. Again, we just got the annual financial report submitted, and here they are a week later. So the other thing is we're going to call a webpage training meeting with Dave Martin, who's agreed to come in again on March 17th at 1 o'clock. Anyone is welcome to come in. Again, got to work with the departments, being able to get their information on there and keep it up to date. And so looking forward to that meeting.
Chris, did you have anything?
I did not.
You've been awfully quiet tonight.
Sometimes that's best.
Sounds like you're a little under the weather, maybe, so hopefully you get to feel in better, okay? I just want to remind you that the AIC district meetings are coming up, and the one for us is the West Central District, April 9th, at the Inn at DePaul. It's at 5:30. They're going to have legislative discussion like we were just kind of touching on here, and like I told Lee on the phone earlier, most organizations like the AIC, the Firefighters Association, cities and towns, they are still analyzing the effect of the recent legislative session. It's going to take a while to sift through the bills that passed and the changes that were made and how that affects local units of government. So a lot of information is forthcoming, but it's still being sifted through. By the time April 9th rolls around, though, there's going to be a pretty detailed discussion and analysis. It'd be a good thing to have at least a few members there to listen to and see the presentation. That'll help us going into budget hearings and that kind of thing.
Where did you say that was at?
It's up in Greencastle at DePaul campus, and it's April 9th. So let Sheila know. I sent Sheila, I'm going, and she's going to register me, but anybody else that wants to attend that, please do. Please do on that. And if I may say, on the jail project, the more we talk about money, the more I think there's got to be another way besides building a jail, to be honest. And I'm just being devil's advocate for a moment. I'm not saying we do it or don't. But the cost is to the point compared to the size of our community that if you do the math, there is perhaps, even if it's a faint thought, that getting out of the jail business and actually relying on farming that out, placing high-risk individuals in other facilities, and yes, paying for them, it's our responsibility. But if you do the math of no longer having a jail to operate, other than maybe a holding or temporary facility that's small, if you do the math of our operational costs, the insurance and liability costs, even to a new jail, plus all the financing, plus the building, and all the other things that we're throwing at it, if you look at, let's say over a 20-year period, a $55 or $60 million cost, I'm talking everything, finance, all that stuff, we can more cheaply house inmates somewhere else for less than $60 million over the next 20 years.
The only problem is they did look into that and they could not find anybody there.
Well,
So that's.
I know,
So,
but
I mean,
there wasn't
it
an
could be-
in-depth discussion
It
anyway.
could be looked
but-
at again, but I mean, they did contact several other jails and nobody was willing to do that, so.
Benton County doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, there are some small counties out there that I think would be, perhaps provide some insight. But I know when you go to Monroe and say, well, we want to partner, and it's a little different between partnering and building a jail, for example, versus placement of inmates. But let's, if they say, well, we got the letter and, well, we don't want to do that, of course it's a no. But I really think that if we had a plan and we knew the dollars, we would be money ahead if we got out of this business entirely. Get it off our backs. Do not operate a full-blown jail. Operate a smaller facility. We need to get people out of jail that are just sitting there, awaiting trial, that can't bond out. There's people that are not high risk necessarily that are there that we're paying for that are otherwise just can't afford to get out. Okay, so again, low risk. There's some things you could do to address some of that. That'll lessen your population. It'll lessen the demand on staff and the pressures of the building. I think there's just a number of different things that, if we really put our heads to it, could come up with an alternative that doesn't involve building a jail. But I'm just throwing that out there for a thought. I'm not pushing it or anything, but I'm just saying, think about that a little bit on cost.
But I thought, and of course I came on the back end of it, and honestly, I can't speak, I'm not even been here a year yet. But I thought that conversation happened way before we ever started talking about building a jail. If it didn't, it should.
It happened quickly.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if we really necessarily talked of it in that nature. I think it was more from a facility cooperation standpoint.
No, they,
Some counties and was told they had no interest in
right.
housing our prisoners.
I mean, that's what I was, of course, like I said, this has been a few years ago, but I was told that other counties were approached and they couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, I think in the study they might have, yes, I think you're right. But I think it was more from a blanket standpoint, like, will you be responsible for our prisoners? But I don't know if that's necessarily a workable solution, because we have such a certain number, and no one's going to commit to housing 60 inmates, right, as a block. And most jails don't have space for that. But you could put a few here and a few there and split it out. There still are beds out there. It will require managing that. But even for the cost of management and the cost of transportation, which would all be costs you'd have to consider, at the end of the day, what's the bottom line here? And is it cheaper or is it not? And I think that there's a lot more maybe that could be looked into there, because quite frankly, I just do not see at the current trajectory, no matter how hard we try on reducing cost and the size of the building and all that, I don't see how we're not going to be able to, I don't know how we're going to fund this just on income tax alone. And we've been saying for years, no property tax, no work within our means, but we keep going deeper down this path where we're not within our means, and we're not going to be able to avoid property tax and so on, and that concerns me. I'm just not comfortable with that. And so I just think we need to think about as many alternatives as we can think about to avoid a financial issue. And that's just why I bring that up, so. Oh, yeah, and then just a last call on fourth grade essay contest for the AIC. If you know a fourth grader, be sure to get them to put in a word or get that essay in, because we'd love to have a winner from Owen County, so.
Motion to adjourn?
All right.
Yeah.